we are very pleased when people put headsets on and go, wow, isn't this great? And they scream and they jump and they have wonderful emotive reactions. But the truth of VR is that will not last. That will not last until the summer. You will no longer be surprised that you can look all around you and up and down and that things feel like they're coming towards you. Unfortunately, that will be a passing fad, just like the train pulling into the station would not impress you if you paid $15 to go to the cinema and sat in front of that just now. So storytelling, in my view, is vital to the success of virtual reality. It has to be at the very forefront of everything that you consider when you set about making a piece of content. The experience is wonderful, but it's not enough. We've seen people use it in lots of ways, and in many ways it's been a gimmick when it has been used, and that's to the detriment of the whole marketplace. I'm incredibly impressed with what Dr. Mike and his team have done here by experimenting and starting to teach you guys how to take steps in this marketplace, because if you can tell a great story, just as it was with cinema, just as it was with television, you will succeed in virtual reality, and the market itself will succeed. That's my first point. I guess the second point I'd like to make is about empathy. At its best, virtual reality can change the way people view the world, and that's its most powerful weapon, if you like. We're a divided world in many ways. This is a divided country. If it can help people understand people different to them, if it can help people understand places and worlds that are different, and you can see things in those people that you recognize in yourself, then virtual reality can bring people together and connect people in a way that is truly profound and that other mediums struggle to do. So I think when it's used properly, this toy, this piece of kit, has the power to change things profoundly for everybody in this room. There isn't an industry it can't disrupt. We've worked in sports a lot. We've worked in music and entertainment. We've worked in health and wellness. There are so many industries already that are grabbing hold of this concept. And yes, the elephant in the room is it going to go the way of 3D television or Google Glass, which may come back, right?
No, it's not.
Well, thank you.
No,
But I think there are three reasons why not. One, you said it, the content is so different to anything we've ever seen before. It's groundbreaking, it's unique. Number two, I think the cost of entry is not $3,000 for a television, but in some cases now just a few dollars, and often you'll get given a cardboard for free. And the third reason is you look at the guys sitting around the table and betting on virtual reality right now, and you look at those guys and you think, am I brave enough to bet against them? They're, after all, the people who decide how we consume content, how we pick. Our content habits are unfortunately decided by those people, and if they decide that that's how we're going to do it, then maybe there's not a lot we can do about it. The last thing I want to talk about is you guys, I guess. It's the state of the market right now. Virtual reality is the Wild West. It is wide open. There are no rules, there are no boundaries, and there are thousands and thousands of incredible opportunities. So for people like yourselves, and for people willing to be creative, to take risks, to tell a story above all else, yes, to be technically very sound and interested, but there are huge opportunities to change the game. That hasn't happened yet, and it will happen over the next few years. And if you are somebody with all of those qualities, then drop me an email, because I'll probably give you a job.
I'm curious, for someone who's making a television show or a film, the director has the power to determine where your eye is going to go.
Sure.
In VR, that's not the case. How do you deal with that? What makes the creative person interested in getting involved in VR when they can't control them?
Well, it's a challenge that television and cinema is wrestling with right now. And we've had the answer in many ways already. Sound is vital. It is all important in the way that you control how somebody experiences virtual reality. As my background was in the movie business, in feature films, the attention to detail that went into ensuring that you looked at a certain point on the screen at any given moment is endless. And
sounds like Anastasia's work.
Well, correct. It is, and to ridiculous degrees in some cases. So to lose and give up that control is, people are petrified about that. How can they control the way you view something without controlling you? And sound, I think, will be the driver for that in the short term, certainly, and perhaps in the long term. I think really powerful sound design, as you say, right from the outset, has to be part of the original concept, is perhaps the most intelligent and likely way for that to succeed, Frank.
I mean, not to butt in, but that's actually one of the reasons we're so excited about it creatively, is we're in partnership with the authors from the very beginning of the process, because it's the only way sound can do the things that it needs to do to be able to drive that narrative.
Can't be an afterthought, can it? It mustn't be an afterthought in that way.
And just as an image, you know, it's sort of, we were talking about this together, is it sort of feels like we're at that place in VR now where television was when it first came on the scene, where all people knew how to do, well, the only thing they could think of doing was taking a film and putting it on television of a radio show being performed. We don't know what to do with this from a storytelling perspective yet. The technology is edging its way forward, but it's just an explosively creative medium. I mean, just the potential of what we're all going to be able to do is unlike anything else.
I have said often, and look, I'm a real proponent of everything AR, VR, and MR. I think it is the future. It is not even the new normal. It's like, let's get rid of the word digital. Let's get rid of the word media. Let's stop talking about what's traditional and what's not traditional anymore. Everything that we're talking about on this panel today is what we are all dealing with right now. But I have said a number of times, I'd be curious to your reply to this, that VR is not going to hit critical mass until Disney releases Star Wars as a VR only.
Well, I think, I'm not sure that we need to throw cinema away just yet. I think, you know, our habits around television and cinema have been ingrained over decades, and they're there for a reason, because it's still an incredible experience. Where I think that television and cinema at the moment needs to look is to add value to what they're creating. There are only 3 to 4 million proper headsets out there in the world right now.
I have 4 of them.
There you go. Which means maybe just under 3 million. So we have to be realistic in terms of how VR will grow. It can't be an overnight thing, it won't be. And for now, it's about television thinking about how it can add value, help people understand the world they're creating, the characters that inhabit those worlds, and bring you closer to the shows you love so much by giving you bonus content, by giving you experiences in the worlds that they've worked so hard to create. It has to be something that's thought about at the outset. It can't be, as with the sound, it can't be something, hey, let's throw a little bit of VR on the end of this.
Well, I would also argue that one of the most difficult things for VR right now is to try and create drama and comedy in VR, especially with the instances that you talked about, Joel, not making cuts, and how do you direct attention to these things. I think we've learned a couple of things here. I want to get a couple of questions from the audience, because this thing